Are you looking for a device that plays Game Boy Advance games perfectly, is in the very affordable category of under $50, and can even play some Nintendo DS games? Well, this little chunky boy is the Powkiddy V10, and it's a lot cooler than I expected. Now, remember, at the end of August, we are giving away a Nintendo DS package. So if you'd like to be considered, subscribe. That's all you gotta do, and we're gonna pick one of you. But let's talk about this chunky little dude. Oh no.
I really don't like what you've done.
What do you mean? I think you look great. What do you guys think? I think it looks much better.
I'm glad you like it because I think I look like a pile of junk.
But now you're a cool pile of junk.
I'm not a smart assistant. I'm an AI with incredible computational power, and you have me doing.
Go ahead.
Oof.
Say it.
Reminding you to tell the people about the nice sponsors.
Oh yeah, JLC PCB.
They are a one-stop industrial electronic platform, realizing digital PCBA processing by incorporating EDA, PCB, parts sourcing, and PCBA services.
So they could make me a PS1.
Yes, and with increasing investment in innovation and digital systems. They are a leading global PCB and PCBA manufacturer, providing the rapid production of high reliability and cost-effective products.
Good, because those are getting more expensive, and it's not that expensive to order very complicated PCBs from them.
Exactly, and JLC PCB makes the cheapest but top quality PCBs possible because of scaling effect, extremely high production efficiency with less manpower cost.
Really? Again with the manpower cost?
Yes, maybe we'll eventually outsource you.
You made this joke last time, and I'm still not happy.
So remember to sign up using the link below and try JLC PCB, and if you sign up using my link in the description you get a $60 new user coupon.
I really want that coupon.
No, you have to pay full price.
Well then, I guess I'm just gonna make more upgrades to you. Before I do that though, let's talk about the V10. Vroom vroom. This is the new Game Boy style emulator from Powkiddy, and yes, it's chunky, and yes, I still dislike the name, but it comes in at a very interesting price point, which is the under $50 mark. And there's a lot of interesting hardware at that price point, so why would they get into this market when it's kind of saturated already? Well, they've done a few things that are different with this hardware, and I think it's pretty good. And that's because it is. And we have A, B, X, Y buttons that are squishy and not clicky. A D-pad that is squishy and not clicky as well, and a little bit rolly, meaning you may have a few accidental inputs. Start and select buttons that are clicky and not squishy. And plus and minus buttons that are very clicky and not squishy, which work as the menu buttons in emulation. On the right side of the device, we have nothing. On the left side of the device, we also have nothing. On the bottom of the device, we have a headphone hole and an SD card slot. On the top of the device, we have two USB-C ports, one for charging and one for data, in addition to the power and reset button that are clicky and not squishy. On the back of the device, we have L1, L2, R2, and R1, and they are all clicky and not squishy. These are the ski slope style trigger buttons that feel good in the hand and really let you get a grip on this device when you're holding it, in addition to some branding and a battery cover. When opened up, reveals a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is okay, but they have so much other space in here. I don't know what they were going to put in here, but they could have put more battery, which would have been nice. Covering up this hidey hole, we have a speaker on the front that is plenty loud. And finally, we have a 3.5-inch IPA 480 by 320 screen. So for what it is, this little chungus gets a lot of gaming done, and it does it pretty well on some hardware that I actually really like. The buttons feel good, and when it's in your hands, I don't have any major issues with any of the ergonomics. But in this price point, there's gonna have to be a corner cut somewhere. So let's take a look at the software and see if that's where they kind of messed up if they did. And what the V10 is running is a Linux-based operating system, which is running Arc OS. This comes with a nice, easy panel to choose from all your different systems, and for under $50, quite a bit of power. So starting off with any of your 8 and 16-bit consoles all the way up to the Game Boy Color, everything on here plays fantastic. Now remember, this is a 3:2 aspect ratio screen, so content matching that in those eras will work great. Now moving up to the Game Boy Advance, this thing plays absolutely fantastic on this device. With how the pixels are structured and the 3:2 aspect ratio screen, you're able to get a graphics boost on the Game Boy Advance, meaning just scaling it up, making it feel nicer and more dense of pixels, filling out this screen here. Everything I threw at it played great. Moving up a little bit to the PlayStation era of things, the PlayStation plays pretty well on this device, but you have to keep in mind what you're going to be using and that this only has a D-pad in addition to having the 3:2 aspect ratio screen. So picking out games that match these hardware requirements will play well on this device. This also brings us to an interesting situation, which is the PlayStation Portable, because you are able to get PlayStation Portable emulation running on this device, but any of the 3D titles won't quite run up to speed, and you're missing a joystick, so you're not going to get quite the experience you want out of this device, but some of the games will still play, so stuff like Loco Roco will play on this because you only need the trigger buttons and don't really have any joystick input, and isn't graphically intense, so it's going to be pick and choose for the PSP. When we move over to the N64, we also kind of have this issue, where we're able to get games to play, but you're missing a joystick, so you're going to have to remap things for the joystick, which you can do to get input correctly on this device, but if you need the joystick and the D-pad, you're going to be out of luck because you're going to have to switch between the two, and it just doesn't feel good to having to remap constantly to get just basic menu functions to work. And this is where it gets very interesting, because the Nintendo DS emulation on this device really wasn't covered when it was initially getting reviewed by other people. Now they have Nintendo DS working on this, and it plays great. This is on the stock software that came on the device, and the buttons are mapped nicely so you can swap between the screens easily, but you do have to remember there is no touch input on this device, so you will have to map buttons if you need to press the screen just to move a menu or play games that don't take advantage of the touchscreen, which a lot of them don't. So if you're just looking to get some Pokemon games from the Nintendo DS era playing on here, they will play perfectly fine. So after looking at all the software, I don't think this is where they cheaped out either. So where is it? Where is the problem with this device to make it $50? I think they've been cultivating this set of Linux distro for a while, and now it's actually pretty good. But the things that I noticed while doing testing for this video was that the screen brightness and contrast was not that great. The screen to me was a bit lackluster, and even though it was on full brightness for pretty much the entire review, unless you're playing this inside or in a shady area, I don't think you'll actually be able to play this in direct sunlight comfortably. Meaning if you take this thing outside and put the sun directly at the screen, you're not going to be able to see it pretty well, which is kind of the point of having one of these devices, to be able to whip it out and play it in any condition. No big deal. And when you compare this to other consoles in this price point, you could tell the screen's just a little bit lackluster in my opinion. But honestly, that's it when it comes to bad things. I did notice that the triggers on the back were a little more protruded than I personally like, but you can get away with that because of the price of the device and how many other good things it offers. So with that being said, let's compare this little chungus to everything else on the market. In the same size and price category, we have the Miyoo Mini Plus, the Anbernic RG35XX Plus, and a slew of other devices around this price point. Something like the Anbernic SP, Miyoo Mini, a bunch of other Anbernic devices that are slated around here, another Powkiddy device that is much larger than this one. But you can see here a few different examples of the screen and size of this device compared to others on the market. And this is good for us because we're at a great point now where all these other devices are between the $40 and $60 range and have the same amount of power, basically playing up to the Nintendo DS era of things and having various success with that. This device comes in at the $40 mark and tries to undercut them, while I think having the best ratio for Game Boy Advance. Now, I really do think this is kind of up to you at this point because all of these devices are between the $40 and $60 mark. This is a good device and I like it. If you're specifically getting one for Game Boy Advance, I think this is the one to do it on. But if you want something that's a little more versatile, or if you're looking for something with a 3:2 aspect, or a 1:1 aspect ratio, you might want to go with something different. But this is really more to cover than this little Powkiddy V10 review can handle. So thank you to litnxt.com for sending this over, and if you'd like to pick it up, their link is in the description. It helps me out. And if you'd like to see in an upcoming video a roundup of all of the $100 and under devices that I think are in this price category and, well, worth buying, subscribe so you can see when that video comes out. But till then, take a look at either of these other devices, either the Miyoo Mini or the Anbernic RG35XX Plus. Yes, the names are long. I don't know why I've started to remember them, but that's where we're at. And device reviews are kind of what we do here, and we do a lot of them. So take a look at one of these if you haven't watched them yet, and take a browse through the catalog of videos I have, because there's a lot of devices and a lot of cool gaming technology that we do here. So check them out, smell them, give them a taste. They're free for now. Goodbye.